Welcome back. We're going to finish up Ben Cody's treasure today. As you listen, think about what you wonder, because when you get to the end of this book, you're still going to respond in Canvas with some questions about what are you left wondering at the end of this book. Here's the end of Ben Cody's treasure. So why didn't Ben Cody cross the bridge and keep going, Toby? He could have escaped in the dark. Why dig all those holes? Why go back to town? Most of all, why hide in the basement of the police station? That put him right under the noses of the cops. If they had caught him there, they'd have arrested him for sure. They didn't need to recover the money to send him to prison. Toby shook her head. You've got me, Leo. I give up. The old sergeant told us, Toby, Leo exclaimed. Remember? Toby was silent, trying to remember. He said that the best place to hide something is in plain view, she said slowly. He said it's smart to hide something where... Her eyes grew wide and her mouth fell open. She let out a wild shriek. You're kidding! Leo's grin grew wider. You got it. I bet anything he hid the loot in the basement of the police station. And the cops never thought to look for it there, Toby exclaimed. No way, Leo said. They'd already jumped to the conclusion that the money was hidden by the bridge. They were convinced that it was gone. Then the holes, the loose bills, those were false clues? Toby asked. Leo nodded. Of course. I might be wrong, he said. Toby shrieked at his false modesty. He ducked as she swung a rolled-up map at his head. There's only one way to find out, Toby. When his sister started to get out of the car, Leo grabbed her arm. Where are you going? To find out how to get down to the basement, she said. Isn't that what... Leo pulled her back into the car. Wait a minute. Do you remember the big celebration the city held here 2 years ago? Free hot dogs, balloons, a band playing. His voice trailed away as he studied his sister's face. Toby frowned. Yeah, I remember. It was the grand opening of... She gasped. Oh, yeah, it was the grand opening of the new police station. Leo grinned. Bingo. Over the years, Lakewood has moved the city hall, the main library, the post office, and the police station, Toby finished. So where was the police station in Ben Cody's day? Good question, Leo said. Let's check the old map again. A moment after she unrolled the map, Toby jabbed a spot on it with a triumphant yell. There! And what's in that location today? Leo asked as he grabbed the map of modern Lakewood. They unrolled the new map and compared the two sites. Toby frowned. It looks like Hannah's Hamburger Haven, Leo finished. I could be wrong, but now it's too late. Toby's face fell. Leo, we almost made it. We almost found old Ben Cody's treasure. Oh, don't give up yet, Leo said cheerfully as he started the engine. Let's go talk to Hannah. Hannah was washing tables, getting ready for the dinner crowd. When she saw Leo and Toby, she grinned. Boy, you guys weren't kidding when you said you'd be back soon, she said. What is it that keeps you two coming back? My special sauce? Not exactly, Leo said with a laugh. It's the history of this building. The three of them sat down in a back booth. Leo quickly explained what he and Toby were doing there. Hannah's mouth formed a perfect O of amazement. You're kidding! A buried treasure here? We think the money could be in the basement, unless... Toby gritted her teeth. She didn't want to hear that the basement had been filled in. Hannah smiled. Don't worry. The old basement is still here. The building has changed a lot from the days when the police were here. Each new owner redesigned it and added to it, but they never got rid of the basement. Want to go look? I'll get some flashlights. The Polanskis followed Hannah down the narrow wooden steps that led to the cellar. At the bottom, Hannah paused and turned around. A heavy old wooden door was just ahead. I don't use the basement because it's so cold and damp down here, Hannah said, but I doubt if it's changed much in all the years it's been here. After she shoved open the creaky old door, Hannah stood aside. Toby and Leo pushed ahead, shining their flashlights around the big room. The air smelled of dampness, age, and mildew. Paint flaked off the crude wooden walls. Spider webs hung like lace curtains from the beams overhead, but Leo was delighted to see that the floor was just plain dirt. Toby groaned. This room is like a huge old cave, she complained. The treasure could be anywhere. Come on, Toby, don't give up now, Leo said. He moved around and began shining his flashlight on the walls. Toby and Hannah followed just behind. What exactly are you looking for? Hannah asked. I'm not sure, but one thing Toby and I learned today was that Ben Cody was a trickster, Leo said. At least he thought he was, Toby corrected. What does? Leo suddenly stopped. He crouched, slowly moving the light down one wall. Come here, you guys, look at this. Toby and Hannah peered over his shoulder. They saw a faint outline. Something was carved into the wood. What is that? Toby asked. Some kind of old-time graffiti? Hannah burst out laughing. Why, it's a nose. Imagine that. Why would anybody carve a nose into the wood? There's another, Toby pointed. Hey, didn't Ben Cody say he'd hidden the treasure right under the cops' noses? You don't think. I wouldn't put it past him, Leo said as he turned toward them. Hannah, how would you feel about us doing a little digging in your basement? Hannah was getting excited now. She wanted to call the local media before they started digging. The publicity would be great for business, she said with a laugh. Leo and Toby waited for the TV and newspaper reporters. Then they started digging. But when they finally reached the treasure, the reporters started laughing. Over the years, the canvas money bags had completely rotted in the damp soil, and so had the paper money. Toby groaned as she held up a handful of muddy pulp. A reporter thrust a microphone in front of her mouth. Miss Polanski, would you tell us what led you and your brother to discover the treasure? Leo stepped aside modestly as Toby flashed the reporter a brilliant smile. It all started with an assignment for my history class, she began. I've always been fascinated by Lakewood's colorful history. Why, did you know? And that's the end of Ben Cody's Treasure. Hopefully you enjoyed the book. Hopefully there's some things that you're still wondering when you get to the end of this book. Go ahead and go over to Canvas and write down 2 questions about what you are still wondering.